What's up, everybody? It's your boy Phil Shocker, the Nicely Judger here with Week 1 of PEBA's off-season. We are here to go against someone that you guys may never have remembered or anything like that, but it's Socrates. I think that's what his name was. If it's not, I apologize. Those that don't know, I used to face this man, and I believe it was... Oh, I'm trying to remember the league name. Don't think I remember it. But my very first ever draft league, which was a pickup in a sweep with Mega Beedrill, by the way, I faced this man. And I faced this man again when we started the second season before he died. This man kicks my butt and has beaten me pretty much 5 or 4-0 higher every single time. And, yeah, I don't know what to do. This guy is really, really good. He barely loses, so we have our work cut out for us this matchup, especially with his team that is so stupidly good. Even though it has so many multiple typings and stuff like that. But I think I have a team that's built to handle it, and I can make this work. So, if you guys are excited for this matchup, leave a like if you haven't already. Subscribe if you are new. Join the First Rock Recruiter today because you can really improve. Anyways, I am actually kind of really looking forward to this rematch against Socrates because I have not faced this man within like how many years. So I have grown as a player, and I am hoping to do my very best to beat him this time and to really put on a good show in my first week here in the PEBA. So let's break down his team. He's got G-Max Grimmsnarl, Zygarde, Quagsire, Togekiss, Cobalion, Blacephalon, Zarude, Cryogonal, Slowking, and Doublade. A lot of multiple typings here. 2 Ghost types, 2 Steel types, 2 Fairy types, so 2 Water types, so a ton of multiple typings here. So, looking at his team, I don't think Doublade comes. Doublade has a pretty poor matchup against my team. I don't think Slowking really comes with having 2 Darks plus Tangrowth and Zeraora. I really don't think it's going to be really that good for him. Cryogonal could definitely show up in this matchup as a potential Scarfer, but I can't really see it doing too much because then it can't really beat excuse me, not Zero, Incineroar and a Melmetal, but I can still see it potentially coming as a Hazard Remover setter. And I do think Zarude has a very, very good matchup potentially as well. Would probably be bulk up Zarude if I had to take a guess and be able to try to beat some of my things and be like roughly max speed. So it definitely would be like a Jolly set unless it's Jolly bulky with bulk up with like max HP and like almost max speed for it. But, yeah. But for the 6 I expect him to bring, 100% I expect him to bring G-Max Grimmsnarl as one of the most broken G-Max Pokemon in the entire format. This thing with G-Max Snooze is very, very problematic. There is one thing about this thing, though, that makes Grimmsnarl a little bit bad. It's dirt slow. It's only base 60 speed. I have that in my Incineroar, so I can literally just speed tie with it. So I'll probably expect him to run more of an Adamant set this week. It can be Adamant. The good news is it has to be a Pokeball. It has to be a Pokeball. So even if he brings something like Light Screen and Reflect and all that stuff, it's only for pretty much 4 turns, essentially, as soon as he sets it up. So that's definitely something good to note there. If he actually tries to bring anything longer, that actually counts as an EQ. And either he will be forced to lose the match, or he has to basically force to sack his Pokemon. Which, I guess in some hindsight, I wouldn't want to claim just an immediate forfeit win. So if he ends up, breaking the Pokeball rule thing, I think his best interest is just to sack off his Pokemon. Just throwing it out there. But that's really theorying right now. And I'm pretty sure Socrates is smart enough to remember the rules like a lot of people do. So definitely that's all. Enough talking about that. Grimmsnarl, massive, massive problem. I definitely think dual stab plus Drain Punch is the thing. I could see him running maybe a special set against me, which actually could be problematic because it can actually handle Melmetal in a lot of capacity ways. But I think, it could also be bulk up, or it could just be reflect or light screen. It could be just even screens with dual stab, and that is a possibility, because that's a really good set against my team. It really stops and hurts a good couple of things. Zygarde, we all know how scary Zygarde is. I mean, I got some good answers to Zygarde on my team, but Zygarde is just a stupid monster, dude. Zygarde is very offensive. Zygarde is very problematic. I don't think we see Banded Zygarde. I see either more of maybe a Coil set, potentially, or a Dragon Dance set. I don't see Bandit. I think Bandit's a little, too straightforward. Even though Bandit is a problematic set against my team, the fact that he's one speed Bandit though kind of limits to what he can do. So definitely something like Sub Coil, or like a Spadef Coil Rest Sleep Talk set with Coil is also a problematic set too. So definitely something to note with that. Quagsire is a must-bring against my team in order to stop Zero Aura sweeping. Zero Aura can just basically win the game, essentially, and be able to do so much for his team. Togekiss, I do think, comes as a potential hazard remover for his team, as it is one of his only two hazard removers of his team. I don't think it's going to be fast. I think it's going to be definitely bulky, more physically defensive with some Spadef invested. So definitely going to be some big problems there for us to deal with. Cobalion, I do think comes. Cobalion has a relatively decent matchup here. Cobalion has enough speed to pretty much outspeed a good amount of my things. The only thing he does not outspeed is my Inteleon plus my Zero Aura. Otherwise, it pretty much outspeeds everything else. I could see maybe potentially an SD set and be able to just kind of click a button and just try to hurt my team, which could be very, very problematic. But it definitely could be something like Dual Dance potentially as well. Because Dual Stabs, honestly, all he really needs against my team to really hit my team hard. So definitely something to note with that. So big points for that right there. But yeah, and last but not least, it's going to be Blacephalon. I was a little hesitant on why he would think to bring Blacephalon, but then literally looking at my team, having Melmetal, Tangrowth, Dusknoir, Shellman, like roughly half of my team loses to the dual typing of Fire and Ghost. And if I had to pick what he's going to most likely be, this thing is going to be 100% his main choice Scarfmon this week. Just because it does outspeed a Dragon Dance variation of Salamence, it outspeeds any form of a Scarfer I have on my team, including not including Zero Aura if I'm Scarfing that, and or it can outspeed Inteleon if it's choice Scarf as well. Since Inteleon cannot be able to hold an item since it is my G-Max Pokemon. So that's the team I expected. I think we definitely went a little more deeper in thought with this one, which I don't necessarily need to see why I should have. But in regards, though, definitely something to kind of, factor in there. So, with what I was looking at this matchup, there was one mon on the team I think I should not have brought potentially, but I think it's going to pay off regardless for us here. So I'm hoping it does. So with that being said, let's break down the team we are bringing for this week. We're kicking it off here with GoldenEye 007 here, our Inteleon, the G-Max, 104 HP, max special attack, and 152 speed. The 152 speed outspeeds his fastest thing, which is the Cobalion. And basically, if I get an Air Slash off, I am faster than everything else in his team, guaranteed. So, good news with having this speed creep is basically he has to choose whether or not he gives me speed or he gives me the information I want. Excuse me. Oh my god, I'm sorry guys, I'm tired this morning, apparently. So, Inteleon G-Max, basically, if you guys don't know his G-Max move, it is basically, I believe it's called Hydro Snipe. And it's not a pun because we have Hydro Pump. But it's, I believe what basically means is I can ignore boost. Ignore things. So basically, like, Quagsire is fully Fizz Def. Quagsire is not taking 2 Hydro Pumps and stuff like that. So, what's really good about his team is even if he goes to his Grass type, unless his Grass type beams a rude Scarf, I go for an Air Slash, outspeed that thing. And that's another reason why I kind of have Air Slash and Ice Beam. Air Slash, Ice Beam kind of helps deal with Quagsire, but Ice Beam more so for the freezes, Air Slash for the flinch potentials and stuff like that. But what's also important is that Ice Beam is really just there to help deal with Zygarde as a bonus. Even though I don't really need Zygarde to do that for me, I just figured that would be the more beneficial thing to do against my team. So definitely something to note with that. So, but yeah, I think Inteleon is going to be a really great breaker. I don't think it's the win con potentially in this matchup. It's definitely going to be a breaker in this match though, so definitely some big important things right there. So, going to our next mon, I just knew I had to bring this Pokemon. This Pokemon wins me the game here. That is Zero Aura. This is 100%, I believe, the win condition of the matchup here. I just realized I need to make sure I'm odd number in my EV. So let's just do that. There we go. So there, perfect. So now we have the odd number in HP, because that's the way you got it. But anyways, we have here Plasma Fist, Bulk Up, Play Rough, and Grass Knot. essentially, if he's not super fat defensive Zygarde, I pretty much get to it +1, kill that thing. I could have ran Outrage, but I didn't want to take my chances with Outrage, even though Outrage does guarantee kill. I didn't want to just take my chances with that, and plus I wanted Zero Aura to be able to be very offensive in this matchup. And plus, there's a lot of times I can probably chip down and beat down a lot of things on his team to kind of do a lot of work. So definitely, excuse me, some important things to know with that. So definitely a very important aspect in that regard. But so what I basically decided was Grass Knot with Adamant Nature with the Life Orb still pretty much just guaranteed KOs Quagsire. And the thing with Quagsire this matchup is if it's Rinnoberry, it basically has to rely on Recover as its only way to repel, where I think Leftovers is more important and more better for it. And basically if I can make it so where it loses its Rinnoberry, it just straight up dies. So I already live an Earthquake from full. And with Bulk Upping, I pretty much take 2 Earthquakes. I was thinking of riding Sugar Berry for the longest time, but I love Zero Aura to be able to hit hard this matchup. We have enough speed to outspeed everything on his team, so again, if anything is Choice Scarf, you will know it. But we have in the 96 and 60 defense, it kind of gives us that kind of oof bulk that we want for our team, so definitely to note there, so. Excuse me. Woo! So definitely just something to potentially consider in that terms of regard. But looking at our next team member, I looked at this matchup. And the moment I saw Sylveon against this team, I saw how much Sylveon puts in work. Sylveon is very lethal this game. We are running a modest max special attack Sylveon. Very little bulk, which is very risky, since Sylveon is a really good bulky Pokemon. With 164 speed, which this guarantee means if that Togekiss has any speed whatsoever in some way or shape or form, I do outspeed it. If, for some reason, he does not have... If he has the speed, then we outspeed it. Then it actually tells us good information that we need on his team. So that's something that it's really good to know. But Sylveon, there is no safe switching on his team. The only switching he has to his team that has Hyper Voice switching is relatively Slowking for how Spadef it is. But we all know Slowking's not really going to potentially come to this matchup. Then there's also the aspect of the fact that you look at his team, and what stops me from doing anything else, really? Like, I have a really weird set, though. We are running Shadow Ball, just because in case Doublé does come, I want to just get rid of that thing. Also, if he thinks, okay, his best switch into this thing is going to be Blacephalon, I just OHKO that as well. But Hyper Voice pretty much just 2 shots at it. I could pretty much just stay in against Blacephalon and just go for another one. The only problematic thing about Blacephalon is if it's Specs, but again, I don't really see it being Specs this game. So I think Sylveon has a very good way to just break this matchup, and that's why I want Sylveon to do this week. Up next we have Incineroar, again designed to be really defensive, but kind of offensive a little bit. We are running Party Shot, Knockoff, Will-O-Wisp, U-Turn, Flare Blitz. Very weird set here, but I think this actually works, and good thing I just double-checked this on recording. I need to be Intimidate this week. So we are running that for that instance. We are running 136 HP, 100 attack, Adamant Nature at 28 defense, 80 Spadef. So we're running a little more Spadef side on things, but and also that it's also that pretty good for that. But we are also running 164 speed, which again lets me outspeed Togekiss. So if Togekiss is for some reason again faster, we also excuse me. Oh my god, we gotta go into really good intel that way as well. But basically, this whole Zeo thing is to kind of pivot. This thing's also kind of designed to just smack things up and just do things. So basically, Knockoff to remove items, Flare Blitz to go for the offensive, Will-O-Wisp, which is strictly there, mostly for Zygarde, unless it's Lum, which then is a big bad boy sad thing more for me. Parting Shot for momentum, obviously, against Quagsire and the Zygarde. Basically, once Quagsire or Zygarde is at a point where I can actually beat them with knockoff spam, I'm actually pretty good with my Incineroar to kind of just do some damage. So. Really looking forward to Incineroar. I really hope I built really well with it, and I think it's a really good Pokemon this week. So. Up next, I think is a very questionable Pokemon why we brought it when it loses to about almost everything on my opponent's draft. I do understand it pretty much does that, but I don't think it's that bad. So, definitely something to note there. But we are running Double Iron Mesh, Earthquake, Toxic, Protect. This thing is kind of a similar set in words of defensive. Basically, this thing is designed to spread Toxic around and basically take hits. Basically, click and Protect, which is scummy as it sounds. And then Double Iron Bash was Earthquake. I could have ran Ice Punch this week, but I think Double Iron Bash is getting more bang for the buck that I want, especially if I'm running Toxic damage down as well. So definitely something to note with that. But basically, Melmetal takes a lot of the physical defensive hits against his team. There's decent SPDF hits we take against them to Slowking potentially as well. And again, this is another set that can kind of just beat Slowking 1v1, which is really good as well. That Earthquake is good for the switch in on things like Dewblade or Cephalon potentially. Otherwise, and also for the Cobalion. But otherwise, I pretty much free to spam Double Iron Bass this game. So let's go be something really know. We are running 156 in HP, 168 Adamant Nature, 40 in Defense, and 136 SPDF. We're running more of a SPDF offensive Melmetal because SPDF offensive Melmetal really kind of just claims a KO, if anything. So really important for that. So I definitely think Melmetal has some good chances to help the team. I kind of really wanted Tangrowth this week, but Tangrowth's matchup is just so like iffy on what I can do. So there's definitely something to know that. But I don't know. It was very interesting, man. It was very interesting to say the least. And last but not least, we have Sky High with the Roselia Berry. Basically, if Togekiss or his Grimmsnarl want to be problems against me, we kind of just deal with it effectively well this way, so there's definitely that. But we are running Dual Wing Beat, Dragon Claw, Steel Wing, Dragon Dance, obviously standard Dragon Dance, but we're running Intimidate just because I want to be able to shut down his attackers to be able to do too much against me. So there's that as well, but I definitely think that this is going to be a very important and very big aspect for our team. And I really, really think this is going to be a really good way for Salamis to break this game. If we basically can weaken down Quagsar with Toxic and everything else against this team, Quagsar basically loses to my Dragon Dance Sweeper, so definitely something to know with that. But I'm really, really excited for this week. And that's the team. So I'm sorry this probably went a little longer than expected. I wasn't trying to plan to go that long with this, but anyways, that's gonna be the team. Leave a like if you haven't already. Comment down below. Show your excitement for our first week here, where we hopefully will pick up a win and finally beat Socrates. Again, if that's not your name, I apologize. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.